Looks like we already got a bunch of people in here waiting too.
I gotta get caught up here.
So we got Dano's Toolbox with us tonight. We got Polar Bear Ed, as well as BW's Electronics. And of course, we got Neil, the maintenance man, with us, as well as our host, run on his channel, Brandon from BSS Small Engines.
Hi,
How's
guys.
everyone doing tonight? We know it's really interesting times out there. We know there's some stuff that people are struggling with. We know that there's stuff that YouTube is struggling with. We know that life as we know it is not the same, not only just for us, but like this entire generation. So this is really different times that we've never even heard of. We got Mike Hodges with us tonight. We got MC Engineering Inc. And so basically, you know, we wanted to thank you guys for spending your time with us, as well as just knowing that, you know, we distance ourselves as much as we can from not only the 6-foot rule, but also from lots of other life and drama and things of that nature that go on. We just hope that you're all being safe, all doing the right thing. And if it feels like Brandon's the only one pumping out material on YouTube right now, it's really because, you know, some of us we do things and stuff that we've had on our channels. We don't want people just running out to the store buying things. And if you are, make sure that you're taking care of yourself so that you are focusing on your family and being the best that you can be in this time, because it's really unique in the sense that a tool that might be something that's on your wish list might not be available anymore. The tool on your wish list or in your cart at Home Depot or Lowe's, you might need to switch it into thinking, should I be picking up some seeds and plants? Knowing that, what would your mom or your grandma, what would she pick up when she goes to the grocery store? Would she be picking up flour, sugar, yeast, things of that nature? Yeah, she might be, because she knew how to create things. And you're going to have somebody that is going out to the grocery store that's going to pick up Doritos. Hey, I'm just picking on Doritos because I like them. The reality is people like Cheetos. They like things that, you know, are maybe kind of easy. Yeah. Oreos.
Yeah.
Other stuff like that. You know, we don't see a whole issue with our food supply, or this isn't like a Y2K thing that's happening out there where we're going to see a disruption in power, or even, for the matter of fact, nobody's said anything about water. But if you look at like your water supply, it's supposed to have, you know, go through a treatment process and things like that. So we're not worried about some of our daily essentials. We can survive for 60 days on water alone. Right. But the reality is what happens if things get worse than that. So while Neil might be prepared for everyday maintenance, working in apartment life, and Brandon might have his garden out there, if you've looked at some of his videos, we didn't just magically stumble upon those one day. It took hard work, took ingenuity, took engineering, took lots of tools. So that being said, we really appreciate everybody that's joining us tonight. We had some other people like Big Country Scrapper in there, Ronald, and anybody else I might have missed. Really appreciate you guys joining.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been crazy out there for sure.
Yeah, I had to go to Tractor Supply earlier. First time I've been out in over probably about 2 weeks. And it looked like their employees was wearing like hazmat suits almost. It was crazy.
That's good though. I mean,
yeah.
You know, from what I've seen so far, a lot of people are taking it seriously.
Yeah, and I think it's different everywhere you're at. So what hits me here in the Midwest might be completely different than what it is in Texas, as well as in the eastern states. So, I mean, some people might have curfews, but I can tell you I don't know, it's wearing on me, it's wearing on the family, homeschooling, still getting what work can be done. It's definitely tough, to say the least. I mean,
our kids' schools just got canceled for the rest of the year. They're both young. I mean, canceled in the sense that they're not going to be able to go. Luckily, they still have curriculum and are able to continue. So I'm thankful for that. That eats up, you know, about half a day. And, you know, at least they can continue with the education.
So
part, but I don't.
Brandon's kind of in a different position. I mean, he doesn't have to worry about kids that aren't in school right now as far as anything of that nature. And, you know, he has a garden, not only in his backyard, but I mean, he's got a plow to go with it and things of that nature. So it's interesting. Brandon, are there any things that, you know, knowing that you can plant your own crops, do those kind of things, is there anything that kind of scares you or startles you or something that you're going to be more prepared for that you weren't normally prepared for?
Well, yeah, there's a lot that scares me. Unfortunately, everything I got seems to be breaking down right now when I need it. But one thing that scares me, as y'all can hear me coughing, I have asthma, and this time of year is bad. So going out in public, or my dad's a tow truck driver, and he has to work. So if he brings something in, it affected me with asthma. It's probably 10 times worse. So that does scare me. I'm not going to lie. I'm scared. I might laugh and joke a little bit about the virus, but it's a scary thing. No doubt.
So oddly enough, Brandon, with asthma, asthmatic tendencies, things like that, that actually puts you into a high risk category.
Yep.
And so if people are not prepared, so hopefully you're looking at that situation and tackling it from the medical standpoint with over-the-counter drugs the best that you can do. So whether it be your Sudafed, whether it be your allergy things, because I'll tell you, people are going to look at you when you go out in public and you're coughing.
Or I'm afraid to start coughing in public.
Or you have runny nose or watery eyes. They're going to look at you and be like, Brandon, you already may have issues, but now it looks like you got something different.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say this, but like, wait till this is all done eventually one day in the far future, whenever it is, right? And you walk into a store and someone gets in line right behind you. You're going to be like, you know?
Yeah. So it looks like we had Gearhead join us tonight. So
hi, Gearhead.
What's up, maintenance man? How's it going? But no, speaking of that, one thing that I really thought shocked me. So I haven't heard any increase in bank robberies or anything like that. So people are running around wearing all these face masks. And a month ago or 3 months ago or 6 months ago, that would not be like allowed. Like literally that could get you shot if you went in the wrong place or the police called on you. But today it's socially acceptable to wear a face mask into a bank.
Yeah.
Go here. But yet we have not seen an increase in bank robberies that I'm aware of.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like for my state, the governor and even the mayor of my city, Pittsburgh, they kind of shut everything down pretty early, like before most states, you know? So I haven't gone out in the outside world in a while now. I've been, you know, not working. And it's just strange. But yeah, I did see, but this is in Chicago. There's people going door to door, just breaking in, and really? I would be so pissed if someone came up to my door and forced their way into my house with this stuff going on. Like I would just, the one I saw, the guy that owned the home beat the crap out of the one guy and then shot the other guy dead.
Wow.
So,
well, the one thing I could be thankful for is, so, you know, normally I don't keep a lot of scrap lumber around the house, but I got a huge pile of 2x4s and some plywood next to me. Thanks to Dewey did it because he made me buy a bunch of the Cobalt XTR stuff. So if I have a problem, I know that I can use my Cobalt XTR and I can put wood screws because not only that, but I have a bunch of T25 deck screws that are 3.5 inches that I'm going to use for another video project that I never got working on. But I got a bunch of stuff that I can barricade the doors and the windows that a 40 cal will go right through and not have any problems. And then if we need the 223, that'll go right through there as well. And if we need if we got a bunch of coyotes around us, the 17 HMR will take care of them. As well as, if we got a bunch of other problems, we'll just whip out the semi-auto 22 long range, and we got what was it? We got like 5 30-round clips for that. We're good to go. But when I
Good to
say
go.
30 round clips, only know that you can typically only get like 22 in your 22 because it doesn't work.
Right, yeah. It's a good point. No, I'm with you though. Like I have a deck and I have scrap wood around my house, so I would also, but I don't think it'll get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants it to get to that point, but the real thing is that you got to be prepared for the worst, expect the worst, and hope for the best.
Exactly.
And I think that goes over into working on any project that you do. So, I mean, Brandon, say you get a rusty tractor that comes in and you have to do some alternator work on it, or maybe take care of a part on it. And you just look at it and you're like, okay, so I've seen one of those. I broke that bolt off before. Okay, maybe I'm going to put some heat on it. Maybe I'm going to put some anti-seize on it the day that I get it up and get working on it the next day, so that you don't round something off. You don't have to do more work if you just do the preparation up front.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's always hard to do the right thing. It's easy to do the wrong thing.
Yep.
It takes more time to do the right thing. But I mean,
I don't know though, because he has to maintain this equipment. So I would think that, or I'll give you an example. At work, I don't want to go back for a problem. So if I can fix it and guarantee it fixed for the next 15, 20 years, I'm going to go that route.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, and that's the route you really kind of have to go right now, because how many trips can you make to the hardware store? How many trips can you make to Tractor Supply Company? How many trips should you be making?
Yeah.
Well, before this really broke open, I placed a huge order with Home Depot of all the basic essential things that we would probably face during and after. So even when we come on the other side of this, we're pretty well stocked up on supplies to at least keep people's apartments working.
Well, that's good. Assuming they keep paying their bills, and because we know the eviction laws are really, really slighted in their advantage.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, I mean, a lot of these are college kids with
disposable income.
Well, their parents' income seems pretty disposable. I mean, trust me, they have, they're going to be all right.
They have nicer stuff than you and I. That's what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they get 72-inch flat screen TVs and then just throw them away when they're done. I mean, and I'm not TVs aren't expensive, but the amount of stuff they just throw away.
Spending money like the government.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that's even when stimulus things show up, it's like, oh, what can I do with it? I mean, it's not like I'm supposed to run out and buy a bunch of tools with it. It's not like I'm supposed to, I don't know. How about you guys? When we went to the grocery store last, eggs went up almost to $3 a dozen. We have a family of 7 total, and some of the places have a limit of 1 or 2 on a gallon of milk. We go through 4 gallons of milk in a week.
Yeah,
which means now we have to make 2 trips or go to 2 stores. I mean, I guess it affects everybody differently, but I mean, the reality is it's affecting us today as we know it.
They used to have a milkman when I was young. We used to have a milkman. Delivered milk on the porch,
Maybe they need to bring back the milkman.
Assuming that they're going to deliver just milk.
Yeah.
But you can't do that in this day and age, because you got the Schwann's man that will deliver a bunch of stuff. You got Amazon that will deliver, I don't know, depending on where you're at and how far you're from a distribution center, not only everything you could wish of, but all of your milk and everything.
Yeah.
And your cake, so you can eat it too.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I mean, I'm taking it every day with a grain of salt, because I mean, the things that I could complain about today might sound petty to what they are tomorrow,
Yep.
next week. I mean, the real sad reality is people die every day, but we have now thousands and thousands of people that are passing away a day, that some people don't know how they're going to attend a funeral or get to a funeral. We got other people that complain about other things, which, they're not focusing on the issues at hand, when really they should be focusing on taking care of their family, their friends. I mean, I had my mom call me up and she's like, I'm almost out of this, I'm almost out of this, and I'm almost out of toilet paper. And literally, it really truly was. I thought a joke that you couldn't find toilet paper. No, it's a real thing.
That's true. Yeah.
It took three stores before we were able to find toilet paper for her.
Yeah, and I mean, I just, for other people, like, pop into a gas station. You might pay a lot more money than you would at certain stores, but usually gas stations will have milk, eggs, maybe bacon and toilet paper, paper towels. I mean, around in my area, they haven't been hit. Like, you could pop in and find them pretty easily in gas stations. I don't know about your areas, but
we've been finding a lot more stuff at the dollar store than we have at Walmart's.
Well, and again, it affects everybody differently, because I've heard of like lines in front of Costco's and grocery stores, but I haven't seen one where I'm at. So I'm thankful for that.
Right,
I've seen so many pictures on the internet of like people standing in a line that are not social distancing when I look at the line, but yet there's only a finite or a small number of people that can get into the store.
Yeah.
But yet the store is creating more of a hazard outside of the store than they are inside the store.
Yeah.
Well, I think because outside, it's not dependent on them. It's on the people and how they want to stand in line, Well,
yeah, because like the stores can do a social distancing, but the people aren't courteous enough inside the store to go, oh, there's the item I need over there, and cut you off with the cart and
right.
Jump in front of you, and they're just like, So it's back to the regular world where it's like, well, I guess I'm the one that's supposed to drive safely. I'm supposed to be cautious. I'm supposed to worry about myself. Wish everybody else was doing that.
Yeah.
Wish everybody was staying in their lane, right, Neil?
Exactly. Like I went to the gas station today. There's some guy in there buying food. I waited till he was out of the gas station, and then I went in, A couple weeks ago, I was at a gas station, went in to grab something, and the dude wanted to fill up his car with gas, and he just was right up, like, we call it bum rushing, because they gotta get up on the counter, like they can't wait in line or whatever. They just hop up right behind you. It's like, Jesus Christ. But I think also all of us are kind of more in like not a city setting. I'm not sure, but I know I'm not,
When you say city, I always think of like big city. I don't think of any of the things that I have in the Midwest as a super big city. I don't.
Right. Like Pittsburgh is a small city, I mean, might be bigger than what you guys are used to, but I live outside, like in the rural part of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think there's like 100,000 people where I live. Military town, so.
That's right. You're, aren't you close to Brad's workbench?
No, he's over in Houston.
Okay.
But he works all the way over towards Midland, so that's like on the way opposite side of the state. So he has to drive quite a distance to work.
Oh yeah, Texas is a huge state.
Yeah.
One of the bigger ones.
Well, and like, New York, they have the worst of it, but I've never been to New York, or at least if I have, I don't remember it. I don't that's too big for me, way too big. But like, it just there's like the transportation there and walking through the city and stuff. Everyone's just so close and up on each other. You know, that's exactly how this thing spreads, and
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but that's part of living in that type of setting.
Definitely true. It's definitely slowed down a lot of things in my life. I've seen a lot of things slowing down as well. One big shocker to me, Harbor Freight actually has slowed down with their promotions, with their coupons, or with anything really new for that matter of fact. So
Good.
they sent out, what was it, Brandon? Did you see that email where they mentioned that they are not going to be publishing any new coupons or having any like sales that they normally would do, where they
no more parking lot sales for now.
Yep.
Well, probably save them some money too, you know, printing all this stuff and emailing and.
I don't think print wise. To me, everything is printed up 1 to 3 months in advance. Comes, believe it or not, shipped over from overseas. I mean, if they're shipping over the product, why aren't they printing they are printing all their coupons and stuff that I'm aware of.
Well,
overseas as well.
That's another thing that, like, I'm not saying I'm picking a side, but when this is done, it's like, do you think a lot, like, some things might start moving back to the U.S. in terms of production, or?
I sure hope so. I mean, the reality is that,
like, a bit of a wake-up call?
If we believe the things and the numbers that they say, or just look at our reliance on some of the major things, whether it be 3M mask, for instance, 90% or more of the products that we have are all made outside of our country. So we really can't support ourselves with the things that we need as a necessity. And we're reliant on somebody else and their products and their shipping and their what ifs. So are we as individuals willing to actually pay more for a product and because it's made here? I mean, this should be the time when you say yes.
Yeah.
I think what hurts factories is not as much about the cost of building here, is the EPA laws here. I think the EPA laws here hurts factories bad.
Right, but
yeah, that's part of it.
It's also got to come down to a revenue thing. So those stricter emissions and controls to make everything better, because they don't want the pollution, they don't want the water runoff. It has to cost something. So you're going to have to attach that to your price. It's the cost of doing business.
Jay Young says his boss says they're laying off.
Well, you better tell Jay Young that his boss needs to suck it up.
He's probably going to go look in the mirror right now and tell his boss that.
Yeah. You know, if Jay Young has all this spare time, maybe he wants to come on and say a word or two.
Yeah, Jay Young, if you want to join, we got space.
Because the reality is it hits everybody differently. So, you know, Jay Young would be in an environment where I would consider some of the things he does for the size of his town as essential business. He might beg to differ, which would be really interesting to hear about. Because Brandon, some of the stuff that you do, I would consider as essential. Do you consider it, necessarily essential work?
Well, right now the work I do got is for farmers, and got to keep the farmers going. That's important right now.
Yeah, that's essential right there.
That's essential to me. Well, I don't know what they're farming necessarily, but when I look at that bigger picture, whether it's corn that I'm gonna directly eat because it's sweet corn, or whether it's feed corn, I'll probably end up eating that animal that it's going to feed. No, that's not a problem. We definitely want you to be fully clothed when you live stream.
I mean, I'm all for trying new things, but that's something I can pass over in life.
That's not YouTube appropriate. That's a different tube appropriate, apparently.
This
Yeah,
is
but
the wrong kind of stream.
the interesting thing about it is, I mean, I think business as we know it will change. I mean, I watched a couple of videos that Clay has done, or other people have done, and it's like, okay, well, tool trucks are going to change a little bit. Some of them have turned more just to delivery, or have had to stop altogether. Some of them had to, stop truck business and switch to their own personal vehicles because they can't risk sanitizing the whole truck after every visit.
Right.
So like that business as we know it, like that's going to be hit hard. So if we want to talk about like stock prices and economic prices, I'm not going to be one to tell you other than looking at the current economy and the environment, there's going to be some stocks that are going to go down.
Now, I was actually thinking about this too, and I'm not trying to stir the pot or anything, but a Snap-on tool truck, those guys carry a lot of other people's credit.
Yeah.
Like I understand that there's some good people that pay their bills, but I also know those guys right now are probably carrying a ton of,
small credit. So like that should be under what, Brandon, I can't remember. Do they consider it 500? Well, I guess it depends on the shop that they work in and the volume that they rotate. That could be 250 to maybe 750 to 1500 for the rare occasions, depending on who you are. Maybe even $2,000. Otherwise, they're going to want you to go through a larger financing. But the reality is they could have 140 customers or more.
Right, exactly.
And 140 customers times $200 is real money.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be getting hit hard. I mean, hopefully guys are still hopping on there and supporting their local, small business tool trucks, but because they need it right now. They're going to.
Yeah.
But not just them. So like if you look at even restaurants, the amount of produce that's been wasted, and then you think about how to get the most amount of money in those people's pockets. It's not going to be by sliding your credit card. It's unfortunately going to be carrying around that contaminated, dirty dollar bill that then will have to go back to the bank. But if you look at that whole entire process, one thing that you can do to cut that out is, cut out that middleman. So if there's an app that you're using to pay for something, what you don't know, all of those delivery services out there, I won't mention what their names are, but they all take a commission. They all take a slice of the money that you're using for some convenience to get food to you that isn't directly from that company.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've been trying to support my local, not and by like I don't mean like McDonald's or anything. I'm saying my local. They got one store here, restaurants, small little markets.
Yeah, something that's not a franchise.
Yeah.
But yet though, because somebody else takes some of that money, but they're still a small business, even though they're a franchise.
I understand. Yeah, somebody local probably owns it, but
but the true 100% local repair shop, the small engine, the automotive shop, the restaurant that serves authentic whatever food it is, that's 100% local.
Yeah, and if you get the food, they don't do, they usually bring it out to the car or whatever, drop it in, take your card or money or whatever, and then if you take it home and throw it in the oven for 5 minutes, good to go.
Yeah, and we got some people. So we got like Walter Frederick mentioning, his dad is hurting. Lots of cars for sale under the shutdown in Michigan. Price of the vehicles will be going down. The price of selling a vehicle to the salesperson goes down, so the commission goes down. And honestly, in some of the bigger cities, like Robert Waters mentioned, they're not going to be thinking about smaller businesses.
Nope.
Yeah.
But at least if we're mentioning it, the fact is that you can at least think about it. Dano's Toolbox said, I have a pizza next door to me and Chinese down the street. So a lot of pizza places, so some of the bigger chain ones, yeah, they're a small business, but they're still not as local small businesses as the majority of the Chinese restaurants that you're thinking about. I'm not talking about the Panda Express or another chain one. I'm talking about the one that you legit know is more American, authentic Chinese that make the best Chinese that you've ever had. Those are the ones that you're a small business.
And a lot of them ain't going to be able to reopen. They can't afford that rent. Commercial rent's expensive. Like, there's a barber shop. I know someone that works up the road here. Their rent's $5,000 a month. If they ain't in business, they can't pay that $5,000 a month.
Right. And that's a lot of takeout to make $5,000 a month rent. Because if they are a margin business, they're really tight based on all the other business around them. I mean, they got to literally have a 50% to 100% markup. And some of those small businesses are literally going to have their diehards. They're going to cut money from their pockets to make their business survive until they can. But they're only going to be able to do it for so many months.
Yep.
So we had Colbert Ed said all the Chinese places have closed around him. Robert Waters must be fairly close to Polar Bear.
Yeah,
not all of them, Ed. Because he's like, not that one that I ate last week.
Like, the one in that back alley,
Yes. A lot of your Napa stores, whether they're franchised, there is a difference between the franchise and the locally owned. Mine actually all converted over from corporate stores to locally owned franchise. All their hours have changed. I mean, I can't tell you how many stores have changed hours. Probably the biggest one that I know of, all Walmarts across the U.S., I believe, are 8:30 when they close.
Yeah, and our big grocery store here, I think they're closing up at like 8 or 9 now, because they take the whole night to sanitize the whole store, every single night. It was 24 hours, but they're like, we got to shut down to be able to clean
Those are really interesting. I wonder how those stores really are doing it. And if they truly are doing it, it's not like anybody's truly watching them. I think like at the start of the year, I'm always like, oh, I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to be healthier. I'm going to go on a diet. And I might do good for a week or two, but we're what, 3-4 weeks into this now, depending on how you look at it or where you're from.
Yeah.
I wonder how many of them are truly cleaning the same that they were 3 or 4 weeks ago to what they are today. And
that's what I'm saying. I think Giant Eagle, which is around me local, they decided instead of being open 24 hours, they're going to close at 9 at night till 7 in the morning. I think cops and first responders can go in between 6 and 7 and shop by themselves to get food for their families. So, I mean, I would hope that they're doing something in that time span because we all have to change. This is going to be going on for a while. It's not just going to go away.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I want to believe they are, but I'm more along the lines of what Robert Waters is mentioning down there in the comments. And not only that, I think it's a lot of restocking. So some of our grocery stores, they'll start restocking an hour before they close. And then you come in the next day and hopefully it doesn't get all picked over in the first hour, but they're doing the same thing every night. A lot of the night crews just switched all to stocking, which they enjoy because then they're not having to do that one-off customer every 15 or 20 minutes. They get to focus on their restocking, and it probably is really more productive for them since they're not getting interrupted. They're getting their stock done. They feel safer because they don't have to worry about getting robbed in the middle of the night, even though they probably weren't. Now they know they're not because their door's closed. I mean, couldn't have been making that much money. But they just had to do it because everybody else was staying open.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how things creep back up. Because if you think about it, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, even 75 years ago, stuff wasn't open 24 hours.
Yep.
You'll have to look and see on the bottom line for the companies. They might start coming back and being like, yeah, there's really no need that we need to stay open 24 hours. And when companies start not doing the 24-hour thing, other companies won't do it until they start doing it. It'll be interesting to see who the first is to retract some of their full hours because they want their bottom line to be different or want to be better than the other company that's there. And who's going to come back first.
It'll be interesting to, well, I don't know. It's just all going to be weird for a while. I mean, you hope you can go back and everything's going to be the same, but, you know, I mean, everyone in the world is going to get this virus. They need to have a cure, though, so not everyone is in the hospital at the same time.
Right.
So that's the whole reason why everyone's got to stay at home, because there's no cure and we only have so many supplies and stuff. But the reality is that at some point in the next few years, we will all have this. Get it? You know.
Yeah. I mean, there's been plagues, there's been epidemics in the past, and they all hit differently. This one is definitely different than anything they've had in the past for us, as far as how it spreads and how fast it spreads. It's really...
I'm not saying I'm old, but this is definitely the weirdest event, and I've lived through a few, you know, and it's going to stick with me.
I think this is definitely the weirdest event in the last 40 years that actually did impact me. So there's been other things, but they just didn't get to the Midwest. It's
because we all got too comfortable thinking that something like this would never happen. We should have been preparing.
That's true, but I also, I mean, I know it's not perfect, but the whole world right now is kind of working together. So
yeah,
that's nice to see, I guess, if you want a bright spot.
Yeah, at least there's no talks of nuclear war and it's all just self-destruction now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure right at the tail end of this, North Korea is going to come out and actually, they could all be dead over there because you would never know.
I mean, most of his people are starving anyway, so if they got it, it would be terrible.
Yeah.
Most of them would probably not survive over there.
Did you guys see New Zealand has like one case?
Wow.
Just one?
Just one.
That was like 3 days ago I read that.
I wonder, God, I would hate to be that one case. Like that person.
They probably put that person on one end of the island. Everybody else stays on one.
Probably ship them off.
Yeah.
Like, go sit out in this boat with a ventilator for 2 weeks and we'll come get you.
Yep. You are no longer a citizen. You are not allowed here.
Yeah.
Your New Zealand card has been pulled.
Well, I watched the show on they're so strict of everything that comes into that island. There's a show on Netflix about it. They're very strict.
But it's also huge, like New Zealand and Australia are a huge tourist attraction for like Asian countries. Like that's where most of them go to vacation.
Well, Neil, I noticed over the last probably 6 months or a year, the lighting in your garage has really changed. What are you running these days for lighting?
It's been the same, but depending on the time, it's just LED lights. It was like I bought these probably 10 years ago.
Wow.
It's a shop light. Well, I'll show you real quick. Well, actually, no, I won't blind you. And then you just buy the LED 4-foot bulbs. And then Walmart sells made in USA LED lights, and I bought a few of those to put under the cabinets.
Well, Dewey did it made me look at his lighting that he does in his videos, and I went out and bought some of the Amazon T5 specials. It's like eight different little strips.
Yeah.
For like $57 or something like that. So when I ever get more motivated to do things, because I'm honestly not really motivated right now. I have a lot of stuff, I have a lot of things, but it's, I'm not worried about YouTube. I'm worried more about, all right, just because I'm doing okay this week. Well, now I have a family of 7, but we can only go so long. We only have so much refrigerator and freezer space.
Yeah.
Those are the things that I worry about. And so we have to focus on that and what's going to happen in the coming weeks. Although there's not a lot we can do about it, but we can be as prepared as possible.
Yeah. We're already talking about buying another freezer here. We already got one. We're talking about buying a second.
I mean, not a bad idea if you can fill it or just have it for overflow or whatever.
Well, we got the garden, so that's going to be a lot of garden stuff.
And those are things that when you got your own garden that you're growing, they'll all come in within a certain time frame. You either got to sell them or you got to store them and save them.
Yep. I'm not worried about meat. If I got vegetables, there's other ways to get proteins. My grandma is from Eastern Kentucky, and they didn't have a lot of meats growing up. They got their proteins from beans and stuff like that. They didn't have a lot of meat. Meat was expensive.
Yeah, the LED conversion is pretty easy. They make it even super easy if you just go out and buy a new ballast and swap it in, because all of mine in my house before we shifted over were the old magnetic ones, so you had to switch to new ballast. And yeah, we swapped those out pretty easy.
Like we were doing that work, but we were buying the LED bulbs. This light that I have, it's only 10 years old. It doesn't have like a huge ballast in it, but if you can eliminate the ballast is what you want to do, because even if you get the LED bulbs, if that ballast is still running, it's still eating electricity.
Yeah, I think so Dawson Sporge, he's joining us tonight. He mentioned, you can't, I don't know why YouTube did that. You used to be able to click on a person's name and
I think it's only if you use StreamYard.
Nope. I tried it, tested it on another stream.
Oh, really?
So what it is because of growth streams. They're trying to stop growth streams.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I was like, well, I don't want to time out that person. I want to actually see that person's channel. But all you can do is report or block somebody. And it's like, are you kidding me? Yeah, and that makes sense, because if you think about it, how many people are stuck at home, can't do a whole lot. So what are they going to do? They're going to live stream all day.
Yep.
And hope that somebody likes it or watches it.
I used to go to growth streams when I was first getting started, but the thing is with growth streams is a lot of those people end up leaving. They don't stay with you usually.
Yeah, that's not organic growth. That's not growth because they like what you're doing. It's growth because they're trying to grow. That's your sub for sub. And I've always looked at it in the sense, if that's what you're trying to grow, those people aren't going to watch your channel. So the amount of subscribers that you have aren't true subscribers. They don't really care what you're doing. So if you have a bunch of subscribers and they don't watch what you're doing, it doesn't mean anything. You actually have to have people watch your stuff.
You got people with thousands of subs, and you look at their videos, and they might have 1 or 2 views if they have any videos at all.
Yeah, and YouTube does penalize you if you're doing a sub for sub.
Yeah,
they'll stunt the growth of the channel.
Yeah.
So which kind of isn't fair in the sense that there's some channels that will subscribe to me and then I'll go check out their content and you enjoy it. So you go to subscribe to them because you're going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But is that going to, stump?
But I would, if you're watching it, then it's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're not watching it, but you also got to think there's only so many channels you can subscribe to and watch their content.
Oh yeah.
If everybody was producing one video a week, you could maybe keep up with it. But then
I can't keep up.
Then if you have people that produce daily content, I can't. That's too much for me. I can't watch that.
Yeah, I've been doing that often, but I've been trying to slow down now.
Well, no, Brandon, it's fine if you can do it. I can't do it. I can't watch daily content. I mean, maybe somebody needs their Brandon fix every day, and you're going to cater to that.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, not everybody's going to want to watch me every day of the week, nor do I have enough time to put into doing something every day.
I also heard like YouTube will promote only one video per 24 hours. So if you did one day and release one 17 hours later, it won't notify people of that second if you do it too close.
Yeah, I've heard of that as well.
But I mean, again, I can't. I don't even know when the last time I did a video. 2 weeks ago, maybe 3.
Well, I mean, maybe you're about the same as I'm on 15 days, I think, or something like that. But I did do a live stream in there, so I don't really try to.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking for daily videos. Robert Waters said some people are. That's not me.
Course client, Chris, at your size of your channel now, it's easier to do, or you can do those videos far out more than I can, me trying to build my channel.
I really can't. I mean, you can do it the same. I mean,
well, I think what you're getting at, like, if I take a 3-week break, people are going to forget about my channel.
No, I don't think they will.
No, I mean, I'm not saying everyone, but there's going to be some people. And then, like, when I put out videos, they'll be like, oh, yeah. You know what I mean?
That guy.
Yeah.
I forgot about his channel.
They'll be like, finally, maybe they'll go comment more on your video when you put one out. I mean, but I don't feel bad if they don't, because they're not going to. I guarantee you, when I finally do put out a next video, people aren't going to be like, it's about darn time. Because I can tell you, nobody's messaging me. Nobody's mad at me that I haven't put out a video, because my email, 100% dead. Nobody's emailing me and saying, Chris, why aren't you putting out a new video?
Mine is if I stop doing streams. If I decide not to do a stream for a week or two, I'll get emails. People will be mad.
Well, then you have more dedicated people subscribing to you, Brandon, than they are subscribing to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. My channel is slowly growing, but my viewers are loyal. Man, I can't pronounce anything tonight. But
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I think the last video I put out, I'm pretty sure the maintenance man didn't comment on it, and Brandon probably didn't comment on it either. So, I mean,
well, I don't comment on every video. I should, but I do watch videos. I just don't comment on every one of them.
I'll be on. I'm far behind. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've taken a break with everything that's going on. It's the whole reason why I haven't made any videos. It's if I made a video, I want to do something different than tools, I guess.
Yeah, and
I mean, people want to see that though. They do want to watch tool stuff. It's not like it's
yeah.
They're not gonna watch or be mad at you. They're gonna enjoy it. But part of doing this, like, I never really thought about this till like a month ago, but you kind of are influencing people with tools. If you throw it in front of them, show them. I don't know if everyone thinks that, like I didn't, but I don't want to cause people to want to go out and spend money right now on things they might not need, I guess.
I think I did with these microphones. After I bought this microphone, like a bunch of other people bought the same microphone.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I can tell you, nobody's gone out and bought my microphone. I don't even know which one I use. I took a recommendation on what people told me to buy, because they're like, after one video, they're like, the sound's terrible. And I'm like, yeah, it's really not that bad, but okay. And then I went out and bought like $125 microphone, and I used it once and I hated it. And I went back to my old microphone, and then nobody complained. I was like, I'm going to buy this microphone. Took a picture of it, sent it out and showed it, used it in my next video. And everybody's like, yeah, the audio is great. And I'm like, yeah, it took me like 5 hours to configure it, change the sensitivity. And then I just haven't used it since. But my daughter likes to pretend like she's singing into it. So the value that it's brought for her in her hours of thinking she's in a studio recording a song to herself, it's priceless. So money
there
well
you go.
spent. Yeah. So I'm not complaining about that. Everybody's got their different fans. I figure if I took the time to watch a video that I subscribe to, 9 times out of 10 I'll comment on it.
Yeah, I mean, you should. If you watch the whole video to length, why not?
Might as well comment. That way you know I'm here. That way you
Yeah,
know I watched
that's
it.
true.
Otherwise, you know, you can say you watched it unless we're talking about it. I don't know. That's just kind of how it is.
I'm bad right now. There's not much of watching video, but if I pull up my YouTube and says someone goes live, I'll go and stop in there and say hi or something.
Yeah, I always usually try to say hi, or so I'm the stupid guy that always throws the wave up. That way,
Yep.
Hey, I'm here. Yep, I was really here. Yeah, and you know, I try to listen to the videos too. I mean, I got a bunch of stuff that I still have that I have to make videos on. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I just got my last supply of ratchets in, so I got the good old Crescent branded ratchet, 72 tooth.
Nice.
I got some of the more expensive stuff in it, but it's not really that expensive when you really look at what even Matco or Snap-on or Mac. You know, we got a Hazet, some German love in there, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, Robert Waters. It is hard to type when your hands are covered in oil. I have tried that one.
We got the Hoera,
Nice.
Czech Republic, right there. You know, I was actually really impressed with this.
You know, I mean, I know they make great stuff. The handle throws me off. It just.
Okay. So I'll be honest on the handle. It's really heavy. Like, I like the material until it starts kind of beveling here.
Yeah, that's the part I don't like.
This just added a ton of weight to it. And for as thin and low profile as this is, it's really heavy. It really is just a chunk of metal, but it's really smooth. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, they make great stuff. It just.
Then we had to get some of the good old Ames, or what is this? No, Aries. So I've always seen them, haven't bought any of their stuff. Yeah, it's smooth. Yeah, it feels like a Cobalt 90 tooth ratchet with the Harbor Freight selector on there.
We got a couple new people in the chat. We got Rated R Wood Turning. Welcome. And we got Mud Mower Farms. Welcome to our live stream.
It's yours. We're just here. Thank you for joining us.
I'm really interested what Rated R wood turning really is. Is that turning hard wood, or is that like exposing parts of the wood you're not supposed to see?
It sounds like something Brad's workbench would be real into.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was just thinking.
I really think that's a great name. It's so intriguing that if you produce some good hardwood content, it's really catching. I really like that name. Dang. Why can't I have a cool name like that?
I know. I don't know why. I should have thought of something cool.
I mean, I think the BSS on there sounds really good because I always think of BS. And then I'm just thinking small engine. So, I mean, that's relatively cool. You got a snazzy logo. I mean, it's clean. It's simple. It's good stuff. I like that. It's not as good as Rated R.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great one.
See, now I'm thinking like Rated R maintenance man.
I know. Seriously. just adding that rated R. I mean, if you do NC-17, it's just not as like that's just too much. That's you tried too hard. But and see, he's even got some good stuff on there. He's like, bingo, Neil. He's like, oh, I got all your hardwood needs. I mean, that's great stuff. Man, like it.
NC-17 reminds me of, I don't know if you guys ever played computer games, but Wolfenstein, the original.
Yeah, and Wolfenstein 3D.
Yeah.
And then that was crazy because you got like the first, what was it? It took 3 floppy disks to get the thing installed. And then the expansion pack was one single disc. And you're like, how do you do that?
So I only had the, I could only play like 8 levels. I had like a free demo version.
Yep.
But that was a fun game though.
Oh yeah. Played it a lot.
Oh, that's what Ed said.
XXX maintenance man.
That's starting to sound like a rated X video there.
I'm really bad with acronyms. So NSFW, no strings. I don't know what that is. So don't even say it if you can't.
I don't either. I mean, I've seen it. I don't know what it means.
I don't either.
No strings for wood.
There we go. And then I picked up these. Now this to me, those seem like something that Brad's workbench would have.
I bought their their precision screwdrivers. They're starting to pop up more on Amazon, Steelman brand.
I was actually pretty impressed. So I did have to lube these up a little bit. There was a little bit of they locked up a little bit, but once I put the red lube of love in them, it was good. And when I say the red lube of love, it really is. It's the Permatex Ultra Slick.
Oh yeah.
And just a little. What was that, Neil?
The selector on it. Can I see the on the ratchet?
Yeah. So if you are upright, like you see here,
yeah,
it's really easy. But say you are ratcheting. Oh, well, now it's not so easy. Well, I mean, it's not bad, but you're hunting for the selector.
That's the strangest thing I've ever seen.
So, I mean, all in all, it's still going to work. It's going to work well. Hopefully, I'll have to try it out for a couple days, see how it goes, but it's pretty smooth so far. Pretty impressed. It is another heavier ratchet, a lot of metal to it.
I do like the handle.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that those, I'm not sure how those rubber inserts are attached.
And stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it's attached. So we'll have to see how they hold up, if they pop out, where like I know that one's not going to come off. I mean, it's going to get nicked and scratched up, but that should be glued on there and have the insert that it's not coming off. But those, I don't know if you could just pry those out and they pop off. I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I guarantee you we'll break that one too. The one that I'm kind of concerned about is the Hazette one, where I look at the head or I don't know, how'd you say, the handle / neck on there. Hopefully it's made out of some good metal, otherwise we're going to be bending that because it's kind of short.
Yeah, you're right. It's pretty thin too in the neck there.
Yeah, I'm worried that it's going to end up like the Tecton.
that was very impressive with that Tecton.
But we'll see. I don't even know. I actually rebuilt that Tecton one. Oh yeah, we still got that one. Did we show that off? Yeah. See, there's that Tecton.
You should have sent that to them and be like, this is your prototype for
yeah.
an angled head ratchet.
So I'm kind of concerned that Hazette one might end up like that Tecton. But if it does, it's going to be just as strong as the Snap-on one at half the price. So it'll be kind of interesting. The Hazette one also, I believe, is like a 30-tooth ratchet. So it'll be really interesting. So when we take these, it'll be like low tooth count versus high tooth count. It'll be really a matter of if the anvil is stronger or not. So to me, that one will be kind of interesting. Kind of excited to see that one.
Yeah.
So we got Joe Smith and Friends Network in the house tonight. It's really great when it was just Joe Smith because you didn't have to type as much when you wanted to add him. But Joe Smith's grandma is 95th birthday today. Can you guys say happy birthday to? I don't know about that one. You said your grandma, and that's her name?
Good one, Joe.
Oh, Joe Smith, look at that. So apparently Joe Smith is going to have me on his channel coming up for an After Dark. I believe it is. What month are we in now? So it'd be May. Sometime that first week in May, I'm supposed to show up on his channel.
I'll come out and say Harry Balzac.
There you go. Hooked on Phonics didn't work for me, so he said grandma. Well, no, he did say grandpa. And see, I read grandma.
I did read grandma too. I think because he put on mom's side.
Yeah.
It all ran together.
So my brain ran it together and said grandma. I saw Harry and said, nope, not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then I saw the words next to it, and I'm like, yeah, Hooked on Phonics didn't work for me. I'm not really good at sounding out words. That just looks awful, so I'm not going to say it.
Real question. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, with the Friends Network added in, he is a lot easier to locate on YouTube if you type in that name.
Yes, there's a lot of Joe Smiths out there.
There really is.
It's like there's a lot of John Does out there too, but
I think every time someone gets arrested, their name's Joe Smith, John Smith,
Mr. Smith. Yep, very true. So I got that in the works at some point in time. Nobody likes to break a ratchet except for me. But
well, if someone's gonna do it, might as well be you.
Yeah, somebody might as well do it. Because if I don't, they're going to be Ed, the old tech guy, or somebody else out there that's going to try to break some tools. But yeah, we got that. We got that in the pipelines. We also got another crazy thing. So if you missed one of my videos, I'm going to actually pull out a couple videos that I did inside of it and make them a little bit bigger. So you'll probably see a Craftsman versus Craftsman, which is the Craftsman Stanley Black & Decker versus the Sears Craftsman and the Cobalt. So that video might just pop out there because it was intertwined with a different video. We did the Tower of Torque, which was intertwined with another video. If you missed that, that's where we did a 3/4 to ½ inch, ½ inch to 3/8, and we showed that there's literally no torque loss in that.
That's with the that big thing that you got, right?
Yeah, with a $3,000 socket.
Is that like 4 videos ago? 3?
A lot more ago, probably 8 videos, maybe.
I remember watching that one.
So yeah, but not a lot of people watch that one, so we'll probably pull that one out. But we're going to add on that one, and we're going to find out the torque loss, because people always like to think that there's a huge myth when it comes to doing hand torque tools. So we're going to do one with no extension, and then we're going to take it to a 7-foot extension, but we're going to do extensions in between it. So we're going to do like no extension, and then maybe like 12 inches, 24 inches, 36 inches, and then 7 feet.
That'll be cool. That'll be interesting to see.
I thought it was interesting to do. My wife had to help me video that one. So the video technique. The camera. I don't know about that. We're gonna. This will be the first time anybody in the world will find out how good she is with the camera, other than when we were at SEMA.
Yeah.
Yep. So she did pretty good. We shot this one on my iPhone, so I don't know. We'll find out. She learned some new techniques. How you just hold the phone and you walk with your body, not with your hands. It's really amazing the things that you take for granted when you start shooting some videos, such as your lighting and a couple other things.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, just looking at some things that people produce, it's amazing the things that people can produce.
Yeah. I mean, I have to be honest, like my iPhone video. It's a
Mhm.
4K
Yeah.
camera, you know?
You would be surprised the big YouTubers I know that just use their phones. That's all they use to record their videos.
Yeah. I will agree with it. I mean, I bought a Canon camera, and I've never used it for a video. I took it to SEMA with me. I tried to use it once or twice, and I even tried it before I went to SEMA. Didn't work out. It all came back to using just audio on it. Like there's not any convenient way for me to mic up without spending another $300 on some wireless mic system, flipping between front facing and rear facing, or
Right.
it gets mind boggling. I don't know. And I do like my GoPro.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, if I'm doing a store walk around, it's going to be GoPro. And we know Brandon loves his GoPro.
Yeah.
That's why I got 2.
I know. Are you still liking that silver with the non-replaceable battery?
It's okay. You know, people tell me, "Oh, don't get that." It's when the battery dies and you have to charge it. The battery's like almost 3 hours, 4 hours. I'm not going to do a 3-hour, 4-hour video, so I have no problem with it.
That's true. But I'd be surprised. The last time I went to Harbor Freight and shot for my video, I was in there for like 55 minutes. And that killed my GoPro battery. Like I literally videoed until it died.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thankfully I can swap it out so I can do the outtake or extra, as I call it, which is the ending wrap up. But it's not really. I don't know. Just my sign off.
See, this one, the 5 black has the replaceable. It's just not my silver.
But that one also had a good microphone on it because it wasn't the waterproof one.
Yeah.
And if Old School Repair is using it only when it gets rainy, then that means he's either got a case for it or he's using the 7 black, because that was, wait, did the 6 have a waterproof microphone? It did, didn't it? So a 6 or a 7. I don't know. I hated the whole configuration when they moved to.
I think the 7 silver it's waterproof to a point.
I thought it was waterproof.
Yeah, you just can't dip it. You know, I don't think you can do like a large amount of water.
It can handle rain.
It can handle rain and stuff, so
Water resistant, not
water
waterproof.
resistant. I wouldn't go diving with it. I would put it in a case.
They work. I mean, you could just get one of those and do all your stuff. I mean, you don't get the cool zoom in that you can get with an iPhone or a nice Android.
The new GoPro 8 has digital zoom.
Yeah, but digital zoom's not a good zoom.
Yeah.
I'll do anything but digital zoom.
Yeah.
What's Zoom?
Yeah. You just put the camera real close to what you're working on.
That's pretty much what I do. Just zoom.
You move, yeah. You're doing the.
Yeah.
No joke. That is literally how I would do it. I don't know. It's hard enough, like figuring out how to do the video and how you want to shoot it. So I really just do everything like as simplistic as I can, and then go from there.
Oh, I'm trying to master the video editing. I think I'm getting better at it. I think my plow video was my best video I've done yet.
I've yet to even try to edit a video.
It is time consuming.
Like I'm at a point like I know I should like practice it or at least look at it, you know. But like I think my content is good and I'm putting it out there, and I just haven't taken the time to tweak it, I guess, you know. Because you're just trying to get your videos that you want out.
I think it's just kind of luck of the draw sometimes. the reality is tons and tons of people are doing it. It's not working one way, then you got to find a new way to do it. And some people don't ever find a new way to do it. I know I went to SEMA, and there were some guys that are like, yeah, I've been doing this for 3 years, and it's kind of getting tiresome. And we talked for a little bit, and they're like, I looked at their stuff, I'm like, whoa, their videos are way better than mine. And
I've seen that. Like there's some channels I've seen that like it's like a professional TV show for 15 minutes, but they don't have subscribers. And they've been doing it for a long time.
I'm like, their stuff is really good. And I'm like, not secretly saying it out loud. I'm like, yeah, I'd give up if that's where you're at. But your content is so good, but nobody's watching it. But yet they keep doing it.
Hey, if they're
I think some of it's just luck.
Yeah.
I mean, I think every channel grows differently, and it can get frustrating, but I'm happy where I'm at, and I enjoy doing the videos. So,
yeah, like mine, it took me 3 years to get 600.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of people are watching it, and you enjoy doing it.
Yeah,
but your 600 are different than any of the 600 that I have. So if your 600 are yelling at you when you haven't done a live stream for a week or two, is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? I mean, it's a good thing in the sense that if Brandon wants to do another live stream, he's going to do it. In my sense, if somebody was telling me to do a live stream, I'd probably be like, unless it was you or Neil or Justin or somebody else, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
I will say I've had a few people text me and be like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. They're like, all right, I haven't seen you on YouTube in a while. And it's like, I'm just taking a break. I mean, I think everyone just takes a break sometimes. I don't know.
Sometimes you have to walk away from YouTube for a little bit.
It wasn't like a frustration thing. It's just like, I have some projects going on at home, and
it's just a different time, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Like
but they also got to check on you and be like, Neil, are you sick? Are you coughing? Is that why you're not on YouTube? I mean, is it allergies? I mean, it's good that you can laugh and not cough. I mean, we like that.
Yeah, well, alcohol makes this stuff die, right? So.
I mean, I thought I was the healthiest when I was in college.
Exactly.
And then sometimes you just never stop.
I mean, do you guys have any home projects or?
I gave my kids haircuts today. That was fun. Yeah, I got a couple. So I got more attention from that than anything I've done lately on YouTube. Like I had 2 guys like honk their horn when I was outside cutting the kids' hair, and I was taking the leaf blower and just blowing all the hair off of them. Because my wife was like, you should cut the kids' hair. And I'm like, okay, I always cut the kids' hair. And she's like, no, but it's nice enough you can do it outside. And then you can just use the leaf blower. And then if you guys really get excited, it's warm enough, you can just turn the sprinklers on and have the kids run through the sprinklers. So home projects, no, not really. Just making sure we're stocked on everything and everything's working.
Well, I got the barn still, which I don't think I'm going to get much videos put out until I can finish the barn. As soon as that check comes in, I know a lot of people's going to go blow it on stupid stuff, but we're putting that money into rebuilding the chicken coop. We got a bunch of chickens that we just bought. We got 3 incubators running right now full of eggs to hatch out. So
that's awesome.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's good though. I mean, I am we are going to be having a 3rd child, so I am painting the whole interior of our house. And like when we bought our house, everything was wallpapered. Even the hallways was just plain white wallpaper. There's never Yeah, there's never a coat of paint on any of the walls. It came off real easy, but when it came off, there was like little holes, that it peeled the plaster away. So I'm skim coating every single wall and painting them.
So to clarify for Neil, congrats to Neil on a third kid. Neil is not pregnant. Neil's wife is pregnant.
I look like I am, but I'm not. Thank you.
Let's see, we've done some things, but a lot of mine finished up. Like we did the new kitchen floor.
Yeah.
I got to continue to clean up the garage so that we can build a paint booth to do all of the painting for the kitchen cabinets. But that brings up another point. A lot of people have already gone to the home improvement stores and whatnot and have bought a lot of paint and painting tape. So I've seen a reduction in the availability of painting tape because they're all stuck inside. So they're making the most of their time by doing a lot of painting.
Oh, yeah. A week or two back, we drove by one of the Lowe's, and that place was packed. I've never seen it so packed before. Not even on Black Friday.
So it's interesting because they're an essential store. People that are non-essentials can use that as a place or destination to go. And there's been reports or things of people just meandering around the store, hanging out because that's the only place they can browse. It's the only place they can go.
You can also hop in your car and just drive around. Gas is real cheap right now.
Yes, it is.
I've had the same tank of gas for 3 weeks in my truck, and I'm at like almost full still. So
that's a good feeling when you know that you don't have to fill up 2 or 3 times a week. But it's also a really odd, weird one where it's like,
well, the gas is so cheap. It's like, I want to go buy gas right now, but I don't need it.
Right. You don't need it. But what would you do even if you filled it up? It'd just sit there.
Yeah. Like I even, I hooked a drip charger up to my truck just because usually, last week we ordered all of our groceries from Target and they deliver it to your front doorstep.
Wow.
So we really haven't been out of the house in 2 weeks. So
we try to get out every now and then. Maybe now, Neil, now's the time to start working on your 6-pack.
Yeah.
I am. But like we have a pretty nice property where like every day it's nice. The kids can go out and they can play around and they got plenty. Actually, I bought them a Power Wheels like a while back. And the other day I took there's a governor on it. So there's like another speed that they still haven't gotten to, and that thing flies. So
hi, Steve.
Yep, we got Stephen Cox joining us tonight. He's in the chats. You want to hear some first world problems that I've heard of? So Chick-fil-A, if you go onto their app right now and you look at their menu and you look at the milkshakes that they carry, they don't have whipped cream and cherries on top of them anymore.
Oh, wow.
It's because they are not offering whipped cream and cherries when you go through the store because of the current environmental situation with the spreading of things. So I thought it was really unique, and I thought it was interesting. Somebody pointed that out to me, and they're like, look at, they even took the whipped cream. They went as far as taking the whipped cream and cherries off the shakes when you go through the app, because you'll still ask for them, but you won't get them. And then they'll be like, well, look at the picture. It's not on there. And you'll be like, oh yeah, it's not on there. I thought that was crazy, but that's how you got to do it in this day and age.
I don't have a Chick-fil-A around me.
Well, we do.
Actually, way that he'll go to to get their breakfast sandwich or whatever they have.
If you want a chicken sandwich for breakfast, I don't know, they're pretty tasty. You got to get the biscuits that aren't, as long as they're fresh, they're good. But if you can tell when they're like a day or two old, because they are not easy to go down.
Yeah, we got Chick-fil-A across town, but up the road from me on this road right here I live on, there's a Zaxby's, which makes pretty good chicken.
Old school repair shop. Robinson, and that's from where we're at. That's good on most days. It's about 45 minutes to an hour from us.
Polar Bear Ed said I had to swipe my own card at Taco Bell. Yeah, that's right. Is it just me, or do most of the time the cashier, like, they take your card at Taco Bell and swipe it? They did that on ours.
Wait. I mean, they don't want to touch it. I get it.
Yeah. But I remember physically going into the store. I thought it was odd that the machine's like right in front of me, and the person would still take my card at Taco Bell. Like, that was a thing at my Taco Bell. They would take the card from you. They would swipe it on the swiper behind the cashier.
No.
And I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? It's right in front of me.
I mean, I will say, like, the stuff how this has all happened now, it's like, you know, it is true. Like, someone sneezes or coughs, you're like, you know.
I agree with Steven. I like the stay-at-home stuff right now. I think it's bringing a lot of families together in a way. It's sad, but it's true.
Well, it goes both ways.
If you can afford it.
Well, not necessarily that. I can tell you it's very, very trying right now at our household. So we've had some really good, successful days. We've had some really challenging days where it's just like, I really need to go to work. I need to not be here, but there is no work available for me to go to. So I am at home. It's very different in the sense that, hey, I am not a teacher. My wife is a teacher, but we've never had to homeschool our own kids. My wife is also a math teacher for high school kids. It's very interesting having to learn first grade curriculum, as well as motivate a college student to do online courses that already knows that online courses are not successful for her, but yet she doesn't have a choice because she loses her academic scholarship if she drops below a certain GPA, and failing classes means that you're going to drop below that GPA, and they're already failing some classes when they're normally like a 3.5, 3.7 student, and they're in jeopardy of losing their academic scholarship. So we've had some tough conversations at our household that just because you're not good at something doesn't mean that you can just allow yourself to not be good at it, because you don't have a choice right now. So we've had a lot of different interesting moments this week, as well as a very successful moment. So we were on live stream earlier. You might have seen me look up or around me. There was some yelling and screaming that were going on, but it was very successful because we had our 3-year-old for the very first time use the facilities for not only number 1, but number 2, which is something that we've been trying to accomplish for a very, very long time. And we kept joking in the sense that, hey, the diapers that you have, that's all we have. We're stuck at home, and literally it is hard to get some diapers in some cities and states right now. And we told him, we cannot afford to get more diapers for you. And so we've been working for the last week and a half.
I forget baby wipes. It's hard to find baby wipes right now.
So we've been struggling with that, and that finally happened tonight after many, many months. So we've had some good challenges, good successes, JT, as well as some very tough ones, if that makes sense. So we've had a lot more Mario Kart nights for family. We've had a lot more living room movie nights. We'll be doing a movie night tomorrow night. Happy Easter early to everybody out there, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
So hopefully Stephen will have, the Easter Bunny come to his house. If not, the kids are already in bed and things are set and staged for them. I know we've told our kids tomorrow, you need to wake everybody up. We're going to get everybody up. We're going to go downstairs. We're going to see what the Easter Bunny brought us, because the Easter Bunny doesn't forget anybody. So mom and dad are actually included in this one. And we'll see what the Easter Bunny brings us. And then we will get to go to online church at some point in time.
Yep.
The maintenance man probably was having internet connection problems.
Yeah,
so
he was glitching out some.
He froze a couple times, so he may jump back in. We'll have to see.
Yep. Yeah, this is going to be the first Easter that we ain't going to do much. In the last few Easters, we've actually had a big blowout. We've had 20 plus people on this property, and the acre pasture behind me, we put out over 1,000 Easter eggs out in the field.
I don't know if my text went through. I'm sorry, but have a good night, Grayson's Forge. Be safe.
Robert Waters said your wife shut off the internet for a little bit.
Yeah. No, congratulations on that, though. You're right, with diapers and stuff.
Yeah, so, just when you're trying to potty train a 3-year-old, as well as have a freshman in college continue to be successful and put scholarships in jeopardy and things of that nature, it's a trying time. And there's only so far that you can escape right now. Neil was talking about not using his truck very much or having the same tank of gas for 3 weeks. She's in the same boat. She's been a freshman in college and stuck at home for the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
She's quit her day job that was a coffee barista. And so she's not doing that anymore. Business just slowed down in the sense that they don't need that staff as much.
Right.
And so she is stuck at home, stuck at online school classes, doesn't have a job, and still has to make the best of it while spending the most amount of time with her family.
Well, I will say, like, my kids have been getting along pretty darn good, which I'm very thankful for. And, usually when I'm working, you come home, you spend a few hours, you're back in the grind. On the weekends, you got a house project. It's been very nice, even though it can be trying. It's still very nice to have that time, I guess, Yeah.
That's the thing that I don't get. I don't get as much. Actually, I get all the time with them, and I'm not used to it, and they're not used to it.
Right.
And so we have to adapt a little bit differently, and we'll learn to do that. But it'll be really weird when everything does go back to a different normal as things change. So that will be interesting.
Yeah.
I like this painting project and skim coating the walls and all that and changing out all the outlets. And it's like kind of waking up to work. I get a few hours to, do that. My wife wants it done. So, at least I have something to hold on to.
Guys, I'll be right back. I got to run inside real quick.
Okay.
Sure.
So progress on the garage coming well?
There's only so much space that I can put stuff.
It looks a lot better from here.
But at least you can see that it's still maintained in the sense that it hasn't changed a whole lot.
Well, that's where you do all your work, right?
Right. For YouTube.
Yeah.
Right here. So, but I haven't been doing a whole lot of work lately. But I can't go out. So, I don't know.
It'll all come around.
It's surviving. Yeah. I can tell you made the wrong choice of continuing to buy some more power tools.
The Cobalt.
God, I feel bad for anybody that gets into the power tools on YouTube, because not only one, is it expensive, but two, having 6 different battery chargers right in front of me. It's crazy. I don't know how they do it.
It's I think it'd be interesting to see you get more into that, to to mix it up a bit every once in a while.
I can tell you that's not what my subscribers want to see, but I mean,
They'll come around, or if they don't, the new bunch will.
Somebody else will. Yep. Yeah. So I've been really kind of like gun shy on some of that stuff because I really wanted to take all the impact drivers and actually do a nut torque down test on them and see. So like, you know, the Bosch says it's supposed to do 1,800 inch-pounds. And some no-name brand out there says it's supposed to do 2,600 inch-pounds. Well, I can tell you that that's not true. But oddly enough, the Bauer one out of all of them, that one says it's only supposed to do like 1,200 inch-pounds, which is like the least rated out of them. But it actually produces probably the best price to performance ratio and didn't actually overstate it, where there's going to be a bunch of torque loss, but this one will probably have the best because it's got a coupler on it or half-inch chuck that'll go right to a half-inch socket.
Right.
So I don't have to put an adapter that I'm breaking on the Cobalt one.
I bought the Ryobi half-inch, and for like what I need it for, you know, it was under $100 and it works.
Yeah.
So
I was actually impressed that I was able to take lug nuts off on my car with this. Now you're not going to get this to do your 140 foot-pound torque on an Avalanche or some of the other pickups out there, but oddly enough, I mean, it was able to do fairly well into the hundreds.
This 12-volt hex driver, 1/4 inch, will take lug nuts off. I did not know that before I bought the Ryobi, but learned that after.
Yeah, it might take it off, but it's not going to put them back on.
No, but I mean,
that was the interesting thing, where a lot of these, like this, could nut bust much more than it could torque down.
Right.
It just was the thing.
I will be right back as well. I gotta take a break. I'm gonna pee.
Robert Waters says, if you can go fishing, why would you want to go someplace else? I don't know. It depends.
I haven't been fishing in several years.
I can go
Been too
fishing.
busy.
I can go fishing down the street from me, but can't necessarily eat it. And I can only catch so much, what is it? Carp, crappie, bluegill. Yeah. Again, still can't eat them. I mean, you could. Wouldn't taste the best.
I guess if you starve, it would be a whole different story.
Yeah, that's true. You can eat just about darn anything.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you're going to like it.
Yeah, Roger has a nice pond. Man, that is a beautiful pond he has on his property. I forgot what he says. I think he said it was a 2 or 3 acre pond, if I remember right.
You know, I was having a conversation with my son the other night, and he was asking me what the difference between a pond and a lake was. And I really told him that it was a lot more about the depth than anything.
Yeah.
Where, you know, your pond's going to be shallow throughout, where your lake's going to be a little bit deeper. I don't know if Roger has a difference on that. So, I mean, do you call a 2 acre pond a lake, or is it not really a lake because it's rather shallow? So it's a pond?
But ponds can be deep.
So what's the difference between a pond or a lake?
I think it's the I think what Roger's saying is the overall size, you know.
Yeah. His overall size is 2 acres.
Like a pond, I think, is something that you could see from every side, from one side. You know what I mean? Like you could stand there and see the other side of it. A lake is something where you can stand there. But just because you can see the other side of the pond doesn't mean that it can't be, very deep.
So we were having that conversation the other night. We hadn't got all the answers on it. That was one of my to-do research projects, was to figure out the difference between a lake and a pond and give him concrete evidence so that we could go out and we could be like, that's a pond. That's a lake.
Yeah.
I know the difference. And then what's the difference between a stream, a creek, and a creek?
And a river. Because some people call some creeks they call rivers, but they're the size of a creek. So why are you calling them rivers?
Well, they're only called cricks around here.
But that's what my wife was like. They don't call it a creek, and I'm like, they call it a creek around here.
Yep.
She's like, it's a creek, and I'm like, no.
Hey, Ian's going down the creek today. Catch some crayfish in that.
According to Google, it's the size on lake and pond. So, no depth involved. It's just size, or is size included with the depth? So it's the length and width and depth to get to the size. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Surface area versus total? I don't know.
I think if you drive by a body of water and you can see the end of it, you go, that's a pond. If you drive by a body of water and you can't see the end of it, that's a lake.
Unless that thing that you call a pond is really a river or a water runoff.
Well, tributary, I don't know. It's a body of water, right?
Roger's right. A lot of ponds around here in Texas are called stock tanks because it's watering hose for your cattle.
All right.
As long as you jump into the right watering hole, that's all that matters.
I guess.
It could be an ocean if you can't see the end, but then I would hope that you would know geographically where you're at.
Why couldn't it be a sea?
It could also be a sea.
I think a sea can be pretty big.
Or it could be a gulf.
Or straight. I remember as a kid going up to what was called the Sears Tower and thinking that this is the first time the earth is not flat. I could see, like, in my mind, like the water curving. It was really, really cool.
That's awesome. I got sucked into Google one night and I was watching like Funniest Dumb People, and there's a flat earther trying to prove that, the earth's flat.
Yeah.
And he's like, if we stand at the same level, 32 feet away, we should see each other's, or I should be able to see his flashlight beaming into the camera. He's like, but if it's not flat, if he lifts it above his head, then I'll be able to see the light. So they're apart. And he's like, all right, do you have the light on? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm not seeing it. He goes, hold it above your head. Guy puts it up, and all of a sudden light comes into the camera, and he's like, yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen.
So you still think it's flat, do you?
I mean, and the funny thing was this guy was shocked at that outcome.
I know. Or he was horrified that he's like, they're going to know that it's not, that I'm incorrect.
Good. Well, it wasn't even a live stream.
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, it's the funny. People believe in some really interesting things. Probably even myself included. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we all do, but like, that's just,
that's crazy. I mean, we were talking like I was doing this when I was so young. Google didn't even exist. You didn't. Heck, that was probably only a couple of years off when my parents could hold me in the front seat, and that was still legal. That was back when I had the coolest socks that had like stripes on them. They were white with like red and orange stripes on it. And your shorts were all material. None of this nylon. This was before Umbros were even cool.
I remember Umbros. I definitely rocked Umbros.
Umbros with biker shorts.
I had someone gave me a pair, like, you know, when you're young, you get hand-me-downs. I got a pair of bike shorts and I put them on. I'm like, yeah, this is weird. Like,
Bugs Bunny proved the world's round to Christopher Columbus, so it has to be true. It's round. Yep, that happens. There's good times. Yep, interesting times. So, Neil, how was your experience? You said it was pretty good taking off the wallpaper.
yeah, I mean, when we first moved in, it was over 10 years ago, it came right off. Like, I didn't have to wipe it or spray anything. But the glue can't, like, there's no glue on the walls, but it had been on for 40 years, so it peeled some of the plaster, you know, like little, just little tiny little holes, you know, all over. But, you know, my wife wanted it painted at that time, so she just said paint it. And this time I'm like, no, I want to make the walls smooth and nice. She still just wanted it painted. I'm like, I have time now. I have the time.
That's a lot of work, though. And then, did you have to do some sanding on top of it? And
no, I bought. Actually, I was going. There it is. I bought this off of Amazon like 3 weeks ago, and you just put it on. It's a lightweight spackling, and I just took a towel and wiped it down. Because it's not, you know, it's not huge holes. Like I said, you just do the whole wall, and then you take a towel and you just wipe it down, and then paint it, and it's good to go.
Fine. Well, interested to see how it turns out.
So far, so good.
Did you do what's your paint of choice that you put on? For at home. For at home. Not for business, but like when you are at home, what do you use?
We use Bear. We got the Marquee.
Is that a one coat or primer and paint in one?
They're all one coat, but they're never one coat. You know?
That's for sure.
They all claim it, but I mean, they're one coat if you prime every wall before you paint. But I mean, it works well. I use Sherwin-Williams at work, and I know some people think Bear's cheap. It all looks like paint to me. So,
Rated R would. If tomorrow was the apocalypse and you could only take one tool with you, what would it be? I'm gonna add Y.
That would be a hard one.
I'd take a hammer.
I'd probably have to pick one of those, like it's back down underneath our stairwell right now, but I have one of those like survival shovels that has the shovel, the axe, the hammer, the screwdriver comes out of the handle on it. That's probably what I would take with me.
I guess it depends on what kind of apocalypse. Are we talking zombies? Because, you know, then we have to take the pew-pew.
I'm thinking we're
zombie apocalypse. I'm taking a chainsaw.
A chainsaw would be cool.
But I'm not going to be taking the 40-volt chainsaw, or definitely not the Walmart chainsaw.
No, it's going. I'm going to take my 26-inch home light.
I got one of those steel climbing saws. You know, they're smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Mount that to the front of a gun. Ultimate weapon.
Oh, I could pull out the good old bayonet little end here, and it legitimately is a bayonet.
Holy cow!
Stamped right on there, 1916.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So I don't have the weapon to go with it, but I mean, it's got the holder on there that it was supposed to mount up to. That was pretty cool.
My uncle just bought an old Russian. Well, he traded it for an old Russian rifle with the bayonet on it. It's pretty neat.
It says, I didn't do a ton of research on it. It says like a Lithgrow on it. Can't remember which army this one was in for. But yeah, I got that one around. I don't know why I had that there. I was just hanging out.
My oldest weapon is right there on my wall, right there.
I think we're getting away from tools like it was a tool.
It is a tool.
A bayonet, you know.
It's a tool.
That you use every day or in the last decade?
I mean, like you're going to hunt a hog to eat. If you don't get it with the bullet, you can always run up to it and stab it.
Yeah, if you don't get it with the bullet, you're going to get it with the bayonet.
I'm going with the hammer. You can knock branches off of trees. You can, you know.
Brandon, you're right. I shouldn't take my shovel. I should take my 4-foot pipe that I use to break all my ratchets with, right?
There you
that
go.
That way I can use it like a baseball bat.
Yep.
You could heat up water in there, boil it.
Exactly.
Weapons are different. Weapons are not tools.
You could use it to probably make a bong or something out.
Yeah. No, I just think I'd use it more as like a bat type of swinging object.
Yep. Well, I mean, are we talking about like
tools that you'd use in a trade?
Like people are going to kill you, or like just you have to abandon your home and live out in the woods, and you have to take a tool. I mean, there's so many possibilities here.
So hold on, I got it.
You don't actually have to get it, but apparently Brandon does. So,
boom!
There you go.
It could be a weapon. It could be a hammer. It could chop wood.
Yep, that's why I got the multi-purpose shovel that turns into
an a screwdriver because it has a blade on it. You know,
Yep, you could do a screwdriver. You could definitely hammer that thing out on a forge and then turn it into a knife or an ice pick.
Yep.
Or if you have one of those hatchets with the axe and the hammer on the back end, you know, they make those. So the hatchet part's not that good on those, though.
They do make a couple different ratchets that are kind of like a spud ratcheting hammer type of tool. There's one that they even have, which I have it, that's got like a nail puller on it. It's the oddest tool. Should see if I could find that. And you could tell me when you'd ever be ratcheting, hammering, and pulling nails at the same time.
Wait,
I could not think of when I was actually going to use it, but I bought it. A roofing hatchet. Yeah, that'd be good.
I got it. Feast your eyes on that beaut.
Can I ask what brand that is? Is that like the Olympic or Olympus or no name brand?
So my uncle, he passed away a while ago, a couple of years ago, and this was in his tool. He was not a handy guy, but the features, there's jaws there and there. There's it does adjust up and down. There's like a nut getter there, and then you got a hammer. I mean,
it's all one.
Is it like a wire cutters up top when those come together?
Up top, like you go out, it's like a nipper, like and then you come down, you widen these jaws. I will say though, like it has a nice, like you could definitely. It's heavy on top, so like it swings like a hammer. Like you think it wouldn't, but it does. Like it does. It's comfortable. But that would probably be it right there.
That's a good one. Have you used it lately?
I've never used it in my life.
but it's really close and within reach. That was awesome. But never used it.
Well, yeah, I'd kind of keep it out here. There is it's made in
case.
Taiwan. It's U.S. patented. And that's all the info they give you. There's not one company name on there because no one wants to fess up to it. Taiwan makes some good stuff, though, right?
All the great stuff is made there. I can tell you that one company that I can tell you that doesn't make that, Harbor Freight does not make that. And I'm sure Brandon can vouch for that because he knows some of his Harbor Freight items. I can tell you that is not a Harbor Freight item.
They should.
Don't tempt them.
Actually, and you can see, like, even like I don't know if you can see this, but the hammer head, do you see that? Like, it looks like it's almost like welded on, or you
quality. I can see that. It's like it was welded on and then just didn't get ground down very well.
Yeah, no, it's completely welded on the head. I guess the real sad thing is someone spent time coming up with this.
And then somebody paid for it. And then it's been kept around because it's just too good to get rid of.
I mean, this is definitely a classic item.
Yeah.
That's something you got to keep around just as a storytelling piece.
Oh, and it has a nail puller in the...
There you go. And you have not used that one time. Unbelievable, Neil. I can see that has for a maintenance man, that has so many possibilities right there.
I should just walk around with this thing all day.
Yeah, you don't need all those tools with you. Just take that.
It's probably an 18-in-1 right there.
I mean, and the funny thing too is, like, I know there's a little surface rust, but this thing has never been used ever. The handles are brand new on it.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's life, though. I mean, we should probably talk about tools we bought that we haven't ever used.
I could do that.
But that's one that you didn't buy, so that one's not fair. Or we could talk about the tools that we've bought because somebody on YouTube did a video on them. We're like, ooh, that's cool, and then never used it. And I can go get one right now. It won't take me very long.
I'll show one that I do use, but not as the tool. But Audubon Dan did a video on this. It's a Craftsman 9-foot tape measure, but it has the bottle opener. And I bought that because it was like $4 and it looked awesome on his channel.
Ooh, yeah, I got to find that one. That was another one. So I bought this. These are the flat wrenches or the thin wrenches from Home Depot.
Oh, those would be nice.
See, right there. So Brandon's already oogling over these in the sense that you can get to that one carburetor adjustment or that one really, really flat wrench spot that you just need to eke down in there. They make these in SAE and metric with that black oxide on there that chips off so easily that when you actually go to use them, you can put your permanent marker on the black spots and it goes away. But you're never going to do that because it's going to wear off by the time it gets greasy and whatnot. Yeah. Justin Dow did a video on those, thought those were the coolest thing and never used them.
Well, why I would like them is the bowl on a carburetor on a small engine. A lot of them has a fuel shutoff solenoid, and it's hard to find a wrench that'll fit, that's thin enough to fit in there to turn that off.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Got the 3/8 over there, 7/16 over there.
You know what?
Now that I'm thinking about it, the next time I'm going to use these is going to be when I'm working with my grinder. I was actually looking for, believe it or not, by the time I put one of the stupid wire brushes on it, thank God I could get it off by hand by backing it off. I needed a flat wrench, and this one, by golly, would have done it. So I do actually know when I'm going to use this next. Now let me see what else I haven't used.
I can't think of any tool that I have bought that I haven't used.
There was since you showed the those wrenches, I wanted to show this.
Haven't used that. That's been a year.
Tool.
These, wanted to see those again. They're pretty nice.
Those are the thin ones, huh?
Yeah, those are the thin head access wrench set from Home Depot.
All right, now there's a company called Gear Drive. They're an offshoot of Work Pro, but they have long set of wrenches like that, but in chrome. I don't know if they're thin, but they're long.
There's a couple different brands. So, you know,
in Apex Tools makes those, right?
Yeah, these would be.
They cross over sometime into Work Pro, also Husky Work Pro. Yeah,
I would think Gear Wrench would have them. I saw Capri Tools.
Yeah, I see them right now. I'm looking at them.
For what brand?
The Capri Tools.
Yeah, Capri Tools has them. They didn't look too bad, but I was like, well, they have a more complete set, but this is just the mixed SAE and metric. But I go, I already don't use these much. And if I am, it's only going to be 1 or 2 sizes. So if I need them in the future, I'd only buy 1 or 2 sizes.
All right, I'll show you a handsaw I bought that I've used a few times. It's come in handy. I bought it because Wrangler Star, I saw it on his channel. I was like, man, that thing's cool.
This is going to be good. I want to see this one.
I didn't see this exact saw, but I like the company. It was kind of like the one that he was using, but it's like one of those.
Oh yeah, I've seen those saws before.
Oh yeah,
Japanese blades where you got the pull and the rip on, and it is. I mean, if you gotta cut something real quick, and you don't want to throw a battery in a circ saw, you can just go to town real quick. But Later, fearless. But Wrangler Star got me.
What did he use it on for a demo? Was he just like?
He gets so many different tools, and he's a woodworker. Yeah, pool saw. It does take some getting used to, but it is a lot better to use than your just average
just regular handsaw going.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Roger, I got some tools in my toolbox that's probably around 60 years old. They still work good, so I keep using them.
Trying to think.
Yeah, I'm looking around trying to think what else I have.
I don't have anything on hand, but Audubon Dan did some well, you have them, the Hazet tools, and I bought some of those, and he also did some videos on the Tajima brand, and I bought like a few of their tools that actually worked out really well so far, both of them. Trying to think what else I
Now I'm making up a whole shopping list. I seen those thin wrenches. I added them to my shopping list. I was like, man, those are handy.
You should check out the Gear Drive.
Yeah, I'll look into those.
Okay, well, I actually do use these every now and then, but these were probably one of the best clearance closeout adjustable wrenches that I got, but I just don't use them that much. Or is this 4-piece set here with the Jesse James, the chopper, the chopper logo on it?
I don't even.
I got the 8, the 6, the 8, the 10, and the 12. And I mean, they work. There's nothing wrong with them. And I every now and then I do see some of these the West Coast choppers and the Jesse James things pop up at the pawn shop. And my God, the people are so dumb about them. They're like, oh yeah, those are Mac
They're so
tools.
famous. They're $100.
Yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, those are Mac tools. And I'm like, no, no, they're not. They're rebranded Stanley with, yeah. And they're like, nope, that's Mac. That's Mac. I'm like, no, that was Stanley.
Yeah, that finish on them too. There was
Sucks.
it was a while ago, but I have a few Husky ones that are that same finish.
I don't even know what this
Probably
finish was.
from about 12 years ago, actually.
Yeah. I don't even remember what this finish is. It's almost like a gunmetal, but not.
Right? Yeah, it's like a cheap. It's like a Walmart gunmetal.
Yeah. It exactly is. I mean, I don't know. These crack me up. I just can't get rid of them because I think I still paid like $19.99 for them or something like that. I don't even remember where it was, but I was like, I got to get those for $20.
You know, it would make someone a legend right now if they pop out. I don't know if you guys know this, but Tim Allen had a cordless tool lineup based off of Home Improvement. And they had like a drill and everything and a few other cordless tools. And
I did not know that.
That would be cool just to have one, just to say it, because
be like, I don't know, it's just cool. They sucked.
They probably have dead batteries by now.
Oh yeah, for sure. That NiCad.
Oh yeah. I don't know. These still always crack me up. I don't think I'll ever be able to get rid of them.
I had, just to go off on the NiCad battery thing, when I was remodeling one of the bathrooms in my house years ago, I had the Ryobi Blues with the NiCad batteries, and I was trying to take out a tub surround so I, can put a new tub in and tile and everything.
Later old school.
And I bought another Ryobi drill for like $50 at Home Depot just to get 2 more batteries, because the batteries only last like 15 minutes with the Sawzall.
Yeah.
So like I'd literally go through all 4 batteries in an hour and then have to charge them up over the next while.
These were another set of adjustable wrenches, but these are
those Craftsman?
They are Craftsman. Craftsman, made in the USA, patent pending. Picked those up many, many years ago. Don't really use them too much.
They look neat. That's about it.
That's what I thought too.
See, Craftsman was weird because like a lot of great products, but every once in a while they would come up with like some, and I'm not gonna call them like tacky or anything, but like just different,
This was a gimmicky item. This was like, oh yeah, you need this.
It's gimmicky, but it could work in a pinch,
Yeah, you can't put a lot of torque on this.
No.
But, you could get rid of carrying around your whole open-ended wrench set with one of these.
Yeah, absolutely.
Roger Fixit Barn asked, have you guys watched Project Farm Channel?
I have never.
I have.
I can say, the guy's got 1 million subscribers and does some really fun, interesting, thorough testing. It's a great channel. Like some of the stuff on there. I even did a video that some people, so I did one on some impact adapters, impact socket adapters. And some people were like, I thought I was watching Project Farm's channel when I watched this video.
That's good.
And I took it as a compliment because he does good stuff. I really like some of his stuff. I actually still have another video that I have to do. I have a quarter or a third of it done. So I was going to do the T25 star bits. So he did a Phillips #2 bit, the strongest one. And so I'm going to do a T25 one that's going to be similar to that. Although I can tell you, he did like 10 brands. I got like 10 brands for it too. It's a lot of work to drill 100 screws into a 2x4 or 4x4 times 10 different brands. It's a lot of work.
I've never done it for, like, people say do that for your drill tests. And I'm like, that take me too much time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he did 100 screws with the Phillips number 2. And I'm like, wow, that's a mad power to you right there.
Like people are like, test the battery power, how long they last with a load. Like, drill 500 holes. I'm like, you know what? People have done videos on that. Go watch them. Like if you want me to test battery with no load, I'll throw Irwin vice grips on the trigger and let it run for 4 hours or however long it's going to run.
I'm about to shoot a video that's probably going to be something quite like what he would shoot. Because, he used to do a lot of the testing with different things you could run through a small engine and stuff.
Seafoam. That's the only one I ever saw on the Ford Ranger.
We are going to run a push mower on moonshine.
Cool.
Straight awesome. Moonshine. Not the stuff you get from the store.
Didn't he recently do one? Or maybe that was a spark plug testing, but that made me watch a couple of his other ones where he ran one off of Seafoam. He ran one off of starter fluid.
Yeah.
So he basically took the whole can, sprayed it into his testing bottle, and ran a mower off starting fluid.
I was always told that, like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be very wrong, but if you have to use starter fluid on a motor, that means it's done.
Well, if it starts, doesn't mean it's done. It means it started.
Yeah.
It's a really cool, hard start.
I think the longevity of it means it's,
Not really.
Not
Often,
really.
if it'll start on starting fluid, it's usually a fuel delivery issue. So you just need, like a mower, it'd be a carburetor issue. Clean your carburetor out, put some fresh gas in there. You should be good to go.
And I mean, some of it could just be a hard, cold start. Some of the newer mowers, believe it or not, because of the emission laws, they don't have a primer button on them anymore.
Yeah, they don't. That pisses me off.
Which means that everything has to be firing on all cylinders and just right. You get one clog, you get one tweak here or there, and you're done. That thing won't start. But maybe your starting fluid is enough to get it running and going, and it'll clean itself out. Not guaranteed it will, but it could.
I mean, I forget where I heard that from. I don't know if it was like a TV show or something. I threw it out there, but
no, I mean, it's a good thought. I mean, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with it or your environment.
Well, so how people started believing that is some things with lower compression is harder to get started. Usually, if you can get it started on starting fluid, then you can keep it running. But a lot of times, it's just a fuel issue. You need to clean your carburetor out, put fuel in there, and you're good to go.
The two, I've actually bought like a few riding lawnmowers just for fun. The first one I got, I think it was a 71 Montgomery Ward.
Yep.
Garden tractor, and then I had the drive shaft snapped, and my father-in-law he did a hell of a job. Like, I did get my use out of it. I moved like 15 tons of gravel around my property.
Yeah.
With the snowplow on it and stuff, and it served its purpose. And he tried to weld the shaft, but it was just like couldn't get balanced, and I didn't want him to waste a lot of time on it. So when it blew up, I scrapped it. I really liked that tractor though. It was cool. It was like the first small engine project I got into, I guess, I got running. Because when I got it, I think I replaced the solenoid. Spark plugs and all that shit, and drained the oil, changed all that out, and it ran great. Like the engine was awesome. Person before me couldn't get started. And then after that, I got a Gravely tractor.
Oh yeah,
probably from the 70s, maybe early 80s.
Yeah, the Gravely's are nice too.
It was a tank. It was a great little tractor, and then I sold that, and now I have like a early 90s white, which is MTD or whatever. But Polar Bear Ed, have a good night. Thank you for joining us. But I like the white products. I know it's all MTD, but it's been good. I have a 2-stage snowblower and that riding lawnmower.
I think they started going downhill in probably about 2000s when the quality of mowers started getting worse. Maybe earlier, but
the one again, I think it's a 92, 93.
Yeah. Again, it's about how you maintain them.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely early 2000s. Seems like the decks started getting cheaper.
Yeah. They just rust out.
The mowers, the engines just became more production like, but not necessarily great quality.
Like
the carbs just
I could tell you when I was growing up, my dad, he always bought Craftsman lawnmowers, and there was like a sewer grate in the backyard of our house, and probably once every couple of years he'd forget about it and run it over and blow up the motor. But like you could take it back in, and he got a new one. Or I don't know how he did it, but he did. He always bought their garden hoses because you could just cut off the ends and take it in. They give you a new one, or you send it in. So when I bought my house, I bought Craftsman stuff, right?
Later, Rated R.
Rated R wood turnings. Have a good night.
Great name.
Yeah.
Love that channel.
Yeah.
Name.
It is awesome name. And I thought because my dad ran over that sewer grate twice, and then we had the next Craftsman lawnmower for over 20 years. I ended up giving it away because I didn't have the lawn at one point. And so I bought a Craftsman, and like 7 years, and that thing it rusted out, wouldn't start. I mean, I fixed it a few times, and then it just got, it's easier to just go out and buy another lawnmower.
Well, it might have been harder to find some of the parts too, depending on where Sears was at that point in time.
Well, they're gone.
Yeah, then it would be more difficult. God, towards the last 20 years, their part cataloging and ease of ordering seemed to go down. They didn't carry stuff like they used to, where they would have it 30 years later.
The sad thing was that lawnmower, like when you have young kids, sometimes they throw rocks in the yards and stuff. And I mean, that thing ran over a lot of stuff, but it cut it did not matter how high the grass was, how whatever, it mowed. And that's what pained me the most. But like, I didn't want to put more money into it or time.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, one of the last times I stopped using my Craftsman mower was when out of all the rocks, there was one little rock in the yard. It hit it, and it threw it through the back windshield on my wife's car. Knocked the whole thing out. Out of all the right places to throw it and hit, just one little rock hit it, sent it sailing through my wife's Corolla right in the back of the windshield, cracked the whole thing, just spidered it in a second. And it was like, oh, heck no, that didn't just happen. And it's like, well, everybody's got their eyes, so it's good. But that sucked.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, when that back windshield goes out, I think we're still finding glass in it today. We'll find a piece of glass here or there. Even though I swear to God, the thing's been cleaned up, we're still finding specks of glass shards on it 6-7 years later.
I don't doubt it. I mean, those things, that glass.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It is.
I'll be right back.
So, yeah, we don't have the mower anymore. I got shipped over to my mom's house, and then she gave it away, donated it, but still ran fine. It's almost 25 years old. And it went through, the nice thing about it was I just run down to Sears when I needed a new blade, and I couldn't sharpen the one that I had on anymore.
Yeah.
And after hitting things, it wasn't a matter of I couldn't resharpen it. It was just so out of balance. I couldn't straighten it out enough to take the wobbles or the.
Joe Smith, Craftsman is not made by MTD. It's made by AYP, which is pretty much the same in a way. A lot of the stuff's a lot alike, but it's AYP.
A lot of the Walmart stuff is made by MTD.
Yeah, pretty much all small engines anymore. And he was talking about plastic carburetors. Those plastic carburetors ain't that bad. I clean those out all the time. I was kind of didn't know what to think about when I first started working on them, but they're not that bad to clean out. Now, the whole no drain plug thing is kind of a pain. You have to get something to suck it out, or you have to turn the engine upside down and drain the oil out the dipstick that way. Bit of a mess.
Really?
Yep.
Odd. Why do they do that? Is it supposed to be so you don't maintain them, or you bring them in for servicing?
Well, it was one of those things that you never change oil, you just top it off. So if it's burning oil, it sounds like an issue.
Sounds like a bad ring.
Yeah.
I do have I bought a Craftsman chainsaw because when I first moved to my house, I had a wood burning fireplace. It was a gas starter, but that was all burned up. So I turned off the gas gun in the fireplace, cut out the line, and just made it wood burning. So I'd cut down trees and, split my own wood and stuff. And the chainsaw I bought was an 18-inch Craftsman. And to this day, I don't use it every year. Once I put an actual gas insert back into my fireplace, I think it was 3 years till my brother needed to use it. I took it over to his house. I was like, I don't know if it's going to start. One pull, fired up. 2 years after that, probably on the same gas from 5 years ago, pulled it once or twice and it fired right up. I mean, that thing just kicks right over. So I can say that was a good purchase. What we got?
Channel block.
Well, this isn't family friendly on. All right, well, we can keep it that way.
Oh, so we're going there. It's After Dark now. It's NC-17. This is the God. What is this? This is the Cayman Jack, the margarita cocktail.
I like that it goes through.
It's good. It's one of those little tall ones, but still only 12 ounces.
Because that channel, this has a bottom, so
yeah,
stick it in so far.
Well, the channel lock one is like 2 slap bracelets put together.
I had one of those beer coos. That's one of the first types of beer coos I ever had.
they were giving these out at SEMA, and you can see that it's starting to wear not so well. But
Channel Lock put a lot of money into that one.
this one wasn't made in America, but it was made to Channel Lock specifications.
Joe Smith, I'll do a video on how to clean those carburetors tomorrow, all those plastic carburetors. I said I wasn't going to make no videos, but I'll make a video tomorrow on how to do that. There's something you got to remove to
Make
get
videos. If you got stuff to Brandon, that's the best part about your channel is you do everything, man.
Yeah, you make a video on everything.
Yeah.
Well,
make breakfast, make a video.
Yeah, but Instagram is like a bunch of food that I've eaten of the day.
So, if that's what you want to post, then that's what you want to post. I honestly, I'll think every now and then about doing something. But I'm like, nobody wants to see what I eat. Nobody really cares what I eat. And if they do, then I don't think they should be watching my channel.
Well, I've thought about this, and I'm all right saying this because I know I like review tools and do stuff, and I do. If you go through my whole channel, there's how-tos and there's projects and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, my channel is really me. You know?
About the stuff you do and what you like to do and what you think is cool, what you want to buy. And so you do what you want to do. But I honestly don't really want to do food and stuff like that. Although I do it.
I don't hear, but like you know what I'm saying? Like
I'll post pictures of it sometimes on Instagram if I'm eating something different.
I go on Instagram so like not very often, so like I don't catch everything, you know what I mean? Like if it pops up in my stream and I scroll down for a little bit, if it's there, it's there. But I do like the I should go live on there right now and tell people hop over here.
There you go. I don't do good on Instagram lives. My Instagram lives don't do good. It's hard for me to get people.
I've never
one person.
Last time I did one was when I was on here telling people to come over.
This has actually been a slow stream. Only been 10 people. That's slow for us.
I'm all right.
It's okay with me.
And 2 thumbs down. We're doing good.
That's because I'm here.
No, someone's been coming and putting thumbs down on all my videos here lately.
Wait, I'll actually tell you guys. So I had a guy, I did that chemo impact a while ago.
What's a chemo impact? I've never heard of it.
And
what is it?
The chemo impact driver. I'm pretty sure you did the video on it as well.
Pretty sure I've never done a video on it. I'm pretty sure I've done a live stream talking about it that I was told that you should not be talking about that product ever again.
Well, I had a guy hop over. If you guys didn't know, I think I did a lot. Well, not a live stream. I did a tool battle back in late November, early December with the chemo. But then I did like a first impressions video, and then I did a teardown in that same video. And the guy came, and his comment was, "Good thing I can fast forward to get to the use of this tool." And I'm like, "No, you're not going to see that in this video." So I wrote a response. I was like, "Sorry to disappoint." And he's like, "Next time, use the tool." And I'm like, "All right, well, I apologize. If you did read in the description, this is a first impressions and teardown video. But if you'd like to see it in use, here's a link to my, tool battle against the Ryobi. So if you want, sometimes you just have to, direct the some of these people who just flip through the. Well, also I don't have any like what do you call that at the beginning or like your video thing,
Video intro?
Well, like people will put on your thumbnail.
Oh, thumbnail.
I don't have creative thumbnails, so that could, but that's why there's a description box also.
Supposedly, YouTube looks at their thumbnails and it helps increase the video or whatever.
They want
Well, think of it as marketing. I
Yeah.
mean, if you saw a good-looking hamburger or pizza compared to a bad-looking hamburger or pizza, which one is going to be more appetizing? Which one would you want to eat? Which one would you want to buy?
Yeah.
When you go to buy a car,
Yeah.
do you buy a car that's dirty or a car that's clean? Do you buy the car that's well detailed and waxed, or do you not buy the one? But either way, it's factored in the pricing.
Yeah.
So if you're getting a used car, and Mike Hodge always says he skips through the maintenance man's videos.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that you at least click on it.
So, I mean, it's all marketing. It's all advertising when you come down to it. Or at least that's my thought on it.
No, that's 100% correct. And I have a.
But I guess it depends. Whatever you think is more legitimate. So at the end of the day, maybe no thumbnail makes it feel more authentic or legitimate than a thumbnail that's doctored, and you're like, whoa, that is like an excellent Photoshop. It looks pristine. It's color graded. And then you get to the video and you're like, wow, that was false advertising. So
that's what mine would be.
Yep.
So
you're saying you can take good pictures, you just don't want to?
No, I'm saying, you
gotta master the selfie.
Look better than my videos, but I mean, I get that, and I'm not like against it. I'm just saying, like, for some reason, I feel like if someone wants to watch my content, they'll watch my content.
Yeah. Or you got to think of maybe there's 4 other guys just like you that are on the pane on the right-hand side, and they're like, should I look at this one?
But the one that says exactly.
Yeah. Should I look at the one where all I see is like a blank space in the guy's garage with the key in the back? Or do I look at the one where I can see, I want to look at the chemo drill?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I'm not like knocking on that or anything. There's some channels that do really clickbaity. Some are just, just a good thumbnail, presentation.
You just mentioned Harbor Freight and Dena Tools in your video, and then make sure you post a picture of Harbor Freight and you'll get tons of views.
You don't even have to mention Dena Tools. I tried this out. I posted a video on YouTube mentioning Harbor Freight Tools in the title. Instant 100 views, and that's pretty good for a channel my size.
Yep.
Not only that, but instant a bunch of thumbs down too. Like I bought the Hercules screwdriver 12 volt, and just because I had never been to Harbor Freight, if I want to have an opinion on it, I'm a tool reviewer, so I can't just give out false opinions, right?
Right.
Give me 1 second.
So, I was able to go in there and walk around the store a little bit, and I liked what they had to offer and stuff, but that's, people take that as like you're just trying to get clickbait content.
But you actually reviewed them.
Yeah, no, I know, but people don't. There's the smart viewers and the there a bunch of different viewers on YouTube.
So did you get called a shill because you actually kind of liked it, but really wouldn't use it every day because you're going to use a different product?
Well, I took it into work, and it is what I use for electrical.
So you do use it every day now?
I do, but I will say that the chuck on it, the release is all screwed up. Sometimes works great. Sometimes the bits just stick in there.
Hmm.
And it's not like you're really torquing down on stuff because that's not what that tool does.
But it's just a hex chuck on it, right?
Right. But performance wise, if you ever looked at the thing, works really well.
You know, and that's really surprising, but not unimaginable. Because, like, I actually I always didn't like the Bauer for some of this stuff. And then I was going to do a review on one of the brands that you mentioned before, as well as the Bauer one and the Cobalt XTR, and then the Bosch one. And
Later, Roger.
the rigid one, I never got around to it. And my wife actually liked this better than my rigid one. And I actually kind of got offended. I was like, you mean to tell me I paid more for the rigid and you like this one better? And the rigid one put together our entire deck for us. She's like, yeah, I like the Bauer better. I'm like, dang.
Talking about me?
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about you.
Oh, I'm bringing the eggs to the garage out here. Our house stinks.
So we did hard-boiled eggs. And she's like, our house stinks. I'm bringing out the hard-boiled eggs.
I always forget like how they like, so when you open up your fridge in the morning after making them and you're like, who? Like,
yeah, you're like,
what proximity is he in? Because you think someone.
It smells so bad.
But I could have told her that, but she wouldn't have listened to me.
Tell me that.
Oh, I did tell her. Yeah.
I just didn't care.
She didn't care.
Now I do.
We don't need to say anymore.
I'm honest. It's true.
She is honest. So that's the problem, though. I was offended when she said the Bauer, she liked it better than the rigid one. And the rigid's brushless. The rigid put together our whole entire deck.
Now I will say like the Bauer might perform, but it looks like a communist type of tool.
The Bauer does?
Yeah. I said that about I forget what brands I was doing. Oh, Heart Tools. I was doing a live tool battle, and I guess in some part in there I said, you know, Heart's not bad, but it's like something you get in a communist country.
It's really interesting because all my stuff is brushless, and so seeing the spark in the motor on this just like brings me back like 15 years.
So I've never tried Bauer, but my experience with most Harbor Freight power tools though is they're underpowered.
This one I'd actually say the specs on it say it's underpowered, but their specs are actually realistic. And if you use them in normal use, meaning you're not tool battling with them,
yeah,
they work. I mean, the reality was the Chemo worked, the Bauer worked, my rigid worked.
You just have to have the right expectations for them,
right?
Like,
you know,
I did a tool battle, Craftsman versus Hart. Craftsman blew it out of the water in the tallies, but every battle was very, very close. Mm-hmm. Now, I was supposed to do a tool battle with Dewey Did It, Craftsman versus Cobalt. We did like a test stream to see how it was working out, and like the Craftsman did not even add up to like it wouldn't have been interesting. I did my 12-volt Milwaukee versus Cobalt. It was close in the beginning, but then, you know, once you get in the bigger stuff, he blew me out. But, you know, that makes the
yeah, and so that's the realistic when you come down to it. Like Dewey and I did the Cobalt versus the Cobalt XTR for the Sawzall. Well, the Sawzall was night and day difference, but when it got to the impact driver, it wasn't such a night and day difference.
Right.
But there was a difference. But the reality is, if we're just putting in drywall screws or putting in decking screws, you'd be hard pressed not to buy either one of them.
I forget, was his was brushless also though, right?
They were both brushless.
Yeah.
His just didn't have, you know, a couple edge here on the specs and a couple edges here, and they really weren't bad specs to begin with. Now, the biggest difference on the drill, well, the drill did produce double the torque and foot-pounds and whatnot. The really biggest difference was the cutoff, where when you had the kick on it, it shuts off on the new version. It doesn't shut off on the old version. And like, we got off the live stream, he's like, yeah, when that drill kicked, he's like, I actually, you know, it didn't feel good. And I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry. He's like, but your drill does, it cuts off. And I'm like, I didn't even know that. And today, nobody's still marketing the fact that
it cuts off.
Like, VCG Construction just released a video like in the last 24 to 48 hours on him. And he didn't mention it.
I know he talks to Vince sometimes too. So
you talked to Vince before as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, not like
been a while.
Not on like that level, you know, like just a message here and there. But yeah, I have a Makita SDS hammer drill, a corded one, and there's a guy I worked with, and we had like a very old Hilti one, and he was using that, and I kept telling him to use the Makita, and he's like, oh, it can't do what this one does, even though they're both SDS, same size. And the Hilti one knocked him in the face because it binded up going through a cement block wall and hit him in the face, gave him a cut, and then after that he was like, can I use your Makita? And I guess my Makita binded up once, but it shuts itself off.
Yeah.
Just like that one does.
Yeah, so I didn't know that until cuts off. Nobody markets that.
It's a great feature.
Yeah. It can be annoying if you don't know it's supposed to do that, and you're kind of like drilling and it's moving, and you're like, why did it cut off? So it actually cut off once or twice in the tool battle, and it was because of that rotation.
Well, it's better than breaking your wrist.
Yeah, it's better than breaking your wrist. So Chevron, I believe, is the manufacturer that OEMs for these. They didn't do a bad job on this at all. It's got the Jacobs chuck on it. Couldn't complain. And
it's compact too for a budget.
Oh, yeah. This blows away my rigid drill. But my rigid drill is also like a Gen 2 back from 2008. So when I go from a 2008 to a current version, there better be a difference. And there really is a night and day difference. So not disappointed with it. And thankfully, you know, I did buy a little bit into the Cobalt line with my weed whacker, string trimmer, whatever you want to call it, and jet blower. Otherwise, I wouldn't continue to look at anything Cobalt. But now I do. So I got those, and I got the 1/2-inch impact, and I got the drill, the impact, and the light. The light's super bright. Really like it. We used it the other night on a 10 p.m. walk.
Yeah. I will say, you brought up the Bowers brushed. For what I do, that's not a big deal breaker. Mostly that's just going to show up in the battery longevity.
Yeah. So,
but in terms of power, it'll still get the job done.
So if it makes it past the 90-day warranty mark, then you're kind of in that gray zone where you just got to use the tool and hope it doesn't die on you. But the reality is that, you know, I can't say that I've ever had to use too many tool warranties that weren't outside 3 or 5 years. Now, I did have to use the lifetime service agreement on my rigid stuff. That's only for the batteries when they died, and then they replaced them. And then I didn't know that you were supposed to re-register your new tools. And so a couple of my items aren't under the lifetime service agreement. And so the last round I did buy some more, but it's kind of like they're not going to replace my supposed partially worn out, but not really worn out 12-year-old tool.
Right.
There's nothing functionally wrong with it. It's just old.
It's big and bulky compared to what's out
Correct.
now, but it works.
Even compared to the Bauer, it worked.
I mean, the specs should still be about the same. It's just
it's bigger and it's bulkier.
I will say this though, like if Harbor Freight wants to be a real player in the cordless lineup, I would think they'd have to shoot for a 2-3 year warranty on the tools, not 90 days. I mean,
if you're going to shoot, well, see, the problem is then you add that 1 year or 2 year in there, the same price, if not more, when you have to buy a single tool, which means you have to go buy the battery, you have to go buy the charger, that it almost doesn't make it worth it. And then you have to be buying more of them. And then it really has to come down to price, but you can only get so much margin out of the power tools before it doesn't make sense to buy it or sell it. If you can't make any money on it, why would you sell it?
Well, you just make it a little more expensive, right?
Right, but then you can't compete on price if you make it a little more expensive. But
I don't know. I mean, that screwdriver thing cost me over $100
but that's not cheap.
to buy the tool, the battery, and the charger. That's what I mean. They
were expensive.
Yeah, and to only carry a 90-day warranty.
Where you could go in and buy the DeWalt one for $129 and get the battery and the charger and the tool. Or when they're running a super sweet promo, you can get it for $99.99.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it becomes a no-brainer where you don't buy the Harbor Freight one, you buy on price and get your DeWalt branded tool. And then you go, God, DeWalt, why didn't you just build a bigger, more depth in your 12-volt line? Because they only had.
Because they're just waiting for the next free agent to become available. That's what Black & Decker does.
Because I'll tell you, I like the Stanley 12-volt or the Black & Decker 12-volt, but it's not deep enough. I wouldn't buy into it.
Yeah. I tested them out. I bought the brushless Impact and the brushless screwdriver, and the Impact does not even touch Milwaukee in terms of,
For the 12-volt?
Yeah. I mean, like, it will do what a 12-volt should do, but the Milwaukee can do what an 18-volt can do if you need it to.
Right.
And the DeWalt won't.
Right. It just does what it needs to do, and you call it a day.
Yeah.
But if there's no breath in the line, then why would you buy it? Like, they should have made like a 3/8 stubby for it.
Yep.
But they didn't.
Yep.
And they won't. So I'm out.
Yeah,
But the Bauer one, I mean, I can see if Harbor Freight's the only thing around, it's not that bad. I won't continue to buy it unless I really see fit, but my wife wasn't disappointed with it. And it worked.
Yeah, that's all most people need. Just something that works.
And by golly, so does the chemo. It works. But again, I could never support the Bauer line one fully or the chemo one, but they do work.
All right, guys, it's getting closer. I'm getting I gotta work tomorrow morning in that barn, get it ready to
Come on, Brandon. It's Sunday tomorrow. You gotta go to church, you gotta do Easter. Gotta focus.
I gotta do Easter, but the whole church, I don't think nobody's going to church other than online church right now.
Last I heard, some Texas pastor was having Sunday service come hell or high water down in Texas.
We got some of these mega churches here, but I won't go to a mega church.
Not that.
Oh, not that guy. Other people got arrested, but not that guy. That guy's still gonna have church.
Yep. He goes, we don't care if we are go underground. We are going to congregate or whatever. And
Congregate?
Yeah.
Conjugate is something different.
Drifty was saying his church is doing drive-in services. I guess you drive into the church and you turn on your radio to a certain station, and they're doing it from the parking lot.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying where they're driving into. I was going to say, if they're driving into the church, that's a different law they're breaking. Well, no, Brandon, it's all good. Tomorrow's another day, and we'll hopefully all live to fight. And we appreciate everybody joining us tonight. And as always, the second Saturday of every month is our Tool Talk Saturday. We'll continue to bring these as long as people continue to watch them and continue to like it and subscribe to Brandon's channel, BSF Small Engine, as well as the Maintenance Man, which is right down there. I'm not going to even try to point to Brandon's side.
All links are in
the description. Right.
Yeah, all links are in descriptions for you two. Yeah, right. Wait. Well, oh no. See, it's so hard to do it.
I have the easy.
Oh, right here. You gotta use this hand.
This is easy.
Yeah, that one's easy.
And then you just hope that when you're going that way, you're like, oh, is it right? Oh, but it's cut off. That's always fun. All right,
guys.
All right. Catch you all later. Thank you for joining us.
There we go, everybody. See y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.